I like big books and I cannot lie. You other readers can't deny. When a book walks in with a good plot base and a big spine in your face, you'll get interested. Hi everybody, my name is Jo and I love to read. I should have practiced that a little bit more, but today my video is all about why I love big books and some tips on how you can love them too. I know big books are very intimidating for a lot of people, and they were for me as well for a long time, but truly it has really all got to do with the enjoyment factor of big books or not. The reasons why I have grown to love big books is because I love knowing with a big book that I can sink in for ages and ages. I can be thoroughly loving the story and still know that I've got half of the book left to go. There's still so many pages to consume, and I don't think there's anything more satisfying, to me at least, in being halfway through the third book in the series and it's a giant book and you've still got ages to go, but then also knowing that you have got another few books to read in this series as well. I love big books and big series too. It's super fun and it's just all about enjoyment. It is just pure simply knowing that there is more to go and more to love and plenty of time for the story to be developed and the characters to be seen in all their aspects and to enjoy. Now on to my tips on how I think you guys might be able to enjoy bigger books as well. The first one is work up to it. It's a skill like anything else, and I think there is a bit of a misconception or sort of misthought as readers that just because we know how to read one type of book, i.e. short fiction, YA, whatever it is, that you're therefore going to automatically know how to read every kind of book at the same reading level. And that's just not true. I truly discovered this myself with non-fiction. I had never really read non-fiction before and I felt a bit funny about not being able to read it very well at all, but I'm a beginner at it. It's like saying I enjoy fiction, so you just got to cut yourself a bit of a break because big books can be really hard because there is a lot to read, and I know myself, I don't like binge reading series at all. So bigger books to begin with were such a challenge because I needed to have a break, I needed to move on to something else to get out of the characters, and I have actually stopped in the middle of the book to then pick it up later because I just needed a break. The second tip is get comfortable with DNFing. Start to know that feeling within yourself that you need to DNF a book. I give myself one reading session in the morning / before lunchtime of a book before I decide to DNF it if I'm feeling unsure about it, because not every book is going to be so good that it's going to keep you going when you're tired. So if I'm feeling unsure about something and I don't know whether I actually want to give it up or not, I give myself one more reading session in the morning or whenever it is that I'm most refreshed or you're most refreshed, and then judge from there and just get comfortable doing it. I know that it's hard and it's probably really easy for me to say that I can DNF things because I haven't had to buy books in a long time, and I'm also very privileged to have a good income myself, for my husband to have a good income. So I do think it comes from a place of privilege to say I can DNF things easily because I know that I can pick up my next read, like whether it's on my TBR shelf straight away or just have the money that I can go out and buy the next book. So I do recognize that that is hard, but I would say if you've pushed through a lot and you're just still not enjoying it and it's making you scared to pick up another big book, just DNF it. The money's already spent. Maybe keep it and then pick it up later. Basically, don't feel guilted to read a book just because you purchased it. I know it's hard. You don't want to feel like you don't enjoy reading, and you don't want that book to convince you that you don't like big books just because it is boring. Another tip is accept your reading pace for how it is. Don't watch videos of booktubers who read 18 books a month and think, oh geez, I'm not a good reader, I've got to try and read that many, and then decide just to pick only short books because you want to have a high number. Read the books that you think are interesting, whether your number is going to be high or not. It was really frustrating for me to begin with, especially as a booktuber, because I had to accept my reading level. I had to accept that I was never going to be someone, I have a baby with me, I was never going to read someone I was never going to be someone who was able to read that many books a month. I'm making such a big deal in my head about having Miles in videos because I don't super want him to be in a lot of social media, because I believe myself that he doesn't get to decide until he's much older as to whether he wants to be in social media or not. But this is literally the only way that I was going to get a video out today, because he is on like hour 4 or 5 of not napping, and the day is ending and I need to edit the video and get it up. So after this I'm going to try my darndest to get him to have a nap, but for now this is the best that we're going to do. And as you can see, he's still quite happy looking around. It's weird, I think he's going through his 4-month sleep regression, but it's like he's got his second win and there is no way that he is going to sleep unless I help him. This is a lesson that I've had to learn to accept over and over and over and over and over again as a booktuber, maybe only twice over. The first time when I first got into booktube and I had a big break from it for like a year or so because I just didn't feel like I was reading as much and I wasn't as much of a reader as other booktubers that read a lot of books a month. And I don't often enjoy audiobooks. I know that that is a lot of how people get a lot of their reading done and I am not enjoying them at the moment, so there goes that. Plus, when I got pregnant, I got tired and didn't want to read much at all, and I just honestly had to really accept the fact that I was maybe only going to be reading 1 book a month, and that was okay. I know that can be a barrier to people picking up big books because sometimes it will sacrifice that entire month, and even saying sacrifice is such a silly word. It's not a sacrifice reading a book, no matter how big or small it is, but you just have to accept that your number's not going to be as good, but that doesn't mean that you're still not worthwhile as a booktuber or as a reader just because you have taken a bit longer to finish a book because you've picked something so big, or any amount of time either, even if it takes you a month to finish that 100-page book. I don't know what your lifestyle is, so I guess this is just also a reminder to say that you are a reader and don't worry about what people say. But leading into my final point as a tip to how you can be less intimidated by big books, and that is just know that any reading is reading. So whether you read 10 200-page books or 5 1,000-page books, any reading is good reading and you're going to be reading anyway, so why not pick the big story that you're interested in reading? Yeah, do you agree, Miles? Yeah. Just pick the book that you feel like you're going to have the best time with and go from there. Now to finish off this video, I'm going to list a couple of big books that I am looking forward to reading, who knows when, sometime soon. These are the ones that I'm most interested in. The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. This is a classic. I think I have started it on audio when I was driving to my sister's. She used to live about 4 hours away from me, which was quite scary for me as just out of high school and hadn't really traveled much. I didn't like driving as well. I got car sick, so I picked this book up on audio. I'm pretty sure I enjoyed it, but I never ever finished it because I was done before the car trip was over. But I would like to get back to reading it. I think it would be a classic that I would really enjoy. Winterkeep by Christian Kershaw, which is the 4th book in the Graceling series, I believe it's called. It follows on from Bitterblue, who is my absolute favourite character in the Graceling realm. I'm excited to see what she's done to the kingdom. Ship and Magic by Robin Hobb, which I will be reading soon. I have it just up there. I nearly started it the other day, but then I really had a craving for the next Game of Thrones, the next Song of Ice and Fire, so I picked that up instead. But I feel like Ship of Magic, unless I need something lighter to read, it's going to be my next read. And I am excited to be in the world of Robin Hobb. The only reason it lost out to A Song of Ice and Fire is because now that I'm starting the first Live Ship Trader book, there's new characters, which is scary even though I love Hobb. It was just comforting to be able to go into A Song of Ice and Fires and have the same characters again. But as I think is pretty standard with a George R.R. Martin book, the first chapter always has a different character anyways, so it's, you know, can never win, but I am having a good time with A Feast for Crows. Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett, The Ember Blade by Chris Woodley, The Sword of Kaigan by M.L. Wong, and finally To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini, which same kind of thing with Robin Hobb. I'm really excited for it, probably maybe almost the most on this list is the Christopher Paolini thing, but the same thing with Robin Hobb is that the new characters, I have all the feelings from having read Eragon, but I know it's not going to be the same logically, so it's going to be interesting because it's brand new characters getting introduced. That is it for my video. I hope this has helped you guys a bit to pick up some bigger books, inspired you. Let me know what your favourite big book is and whether you're going to pick any up soon. Do you have any tips for me? And I will talk to you guys in another video. Maybe without a cameo this time, but we will see. Thanks so much for sticking around with the channel, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!